By the time this ends, we won't be asking whether AI can help us. We'll be deciding what to do with the life it gives back. Hidden inside Google's newest AI ecosystem is something that feels like a VIP door left slightly open. Most people walk past it. A few step through and discover this: we can create automated assistants that reason through our own documents, write in our own voice, and execute repeatable work while we reserve our attention for judgment, strategy, and consequence. This is not about replacing human intelligence. It is about upgrading human leverage. And once you see it, work never looks the same again. If AI is everywhere, why do so many brilliant people still use it like a toy instead of a team? Why are elite operators still trapped in repetitive loops when the tools to create specialized assistants are already here? Here is the central tension. Power is available, but design is rare. Most people collect prompts. Few people build systems. We're not doing a montage of magic tricks. We're building a path, step by step, from overwhelmed operator to system architect. We'll use Google's stack, especially Notebook LM and Google Gems, to create assistants that are not just impressive once, but reliable repeatedly. Because the real question is not, can this model generate text? The real question is, can we design a workflow that still works when we're tired, rushed, or offline mentally? That is where careers diverge. One path stays manual, always reacting. The other becomes orchestrated, intentional, scalable. But here's where it gets interesting. The biggest breakthrough is not technical at first. It is conceptual. We stop thinking in prompts, and we start thinking in roles. Right now, the stakes are concrete. Work has shattered into micro-decisions. Summarize this. Compare those. Draft that. Extract these numbers. Rewrite that message. Prepare this meeting. Each task looks harmless alone. Together, they consume months, then years, then careers. The bottleneck is no longer information. The bottleneck is synthesis. Google's ecosystem matters here because it combines pieces that usually live in separate universes. Approachable interfaces, document-grounded reasoning, and customizable assistant behavior. Notebook LM lets us reason from curated sources, instead of internet fog. Gems let us define persistent role behavior with explicit rules. Automation links those roles into motion. Think of it like filmmaking. Raw footage is everywhere, but footage is not a film. You need an editor, a script, a sequence, and a release schedule. Without that structure, you don't have storytelling. You have noise. In every technology shift, winners are rarely the people with the biggest tools. They are the people with the cleanest workflows. If we ignore this moment, we become manual backup processes in an automated economy. If we master it, we become directors of outcomes. So what does the first real assistant actually look like? Not in theory. In practice. Most failures happen in minute one. We ask AI to help with everything. That is like hiring one person to be your pilot, accountant, therapist, and chef before breakfast. Ambiguity creates mediocre output. Precision creates leverage. The first revelation, our first assistant is not a bot. It is a job description. In Google Gems, we define one mission with hard edges. You are my weekly research brief analyst. You only use provided sources. You output 5 key insights, 3 risks, 2 open questions, and 1 decision recommendation. Now behavior stabilizes. Now quality becomes measurable. Now iteration becomes possible. Here's the analogy: an AI assistant is not a magical brain floating in space. It is a camera rig. Pointed correctly, it captures the shot we need. Pointed vaguely, it records blur. Microhook: what if one instruction template could compress 4 hours of repetitive thinking into 20 minutes, every week, for a year? That is not novelty. That is reclaimed life. But a sharp roll is still not enough. A great actor still needs a script grounded in reality. Second revelation: accuracy begins with source control. Notebook LM's superpower is not conversation for its own sake. It is grounded reasoning over the sources we choose. That changes trust completely. Instead of asking a model to improvise from uncertain memory, we ask it to reason from our evidence vault. Imagine interviewing a genius who has never seen your case file. Now imagine interviewing that same genius after they spent all night with your binders, annotations, and sticky notes. Same intelligence. Different reliability. This is the operational pattern. We upload core materials, organize by project, and ask constrained questions. What does source A claim that source B contradicts? Summarize only metrics with direct citation support. Generate a briefing for a non-technical executive. Then the wow moment lands, citations appear, claims anchor to evidence, and confidence shifts from interesting to usable. We stop asking, can AI write? We start asking, can this become default process? But here's where it gets interesting. Confidence invites speed, and speed without handoff is still manual labor wearing futuristic clothes. Third revelation, intelligence becomes transformational only when triggered automatically. The workflow is the hero's sword. When a new document arrives, Notebook LM analyzes it. A gem converts analysis into audience-specific outputs. A final check step formats and routes delivery. Automation sounds intimidating until we strip it down: trigger, context, transformation, delivery. That's it. Start with one recurring workflow, one predictable format, one quality checkpoint. Think newsroom. Notebook LM is the investigative desk reading raw material. Gems are editors by audience, executive brief editor, technical deep dive editor, social explainer editor. Automation is the publishing calendar that never forgets a deadline. And then comes the first unforgettable morning. Before coffee, your system has already processed overnight inputs and handed you a coherent deliverable. In that moment, the shift is clear. This is not faster typing. This is delegated cognition. But delegation creates power. Power creates risk. Fourth revelation, reliability is engineered, not wished into existence. Every assistant needs guardrails. Source restrictions. Output schemas. Escalation rules. Human checkpoints for high-stakes decisions. Raw capability seduces beginners. Constraints define professionals. A gem told to sound confident can produce polished nonsense. A Notebook LM workflow with weak source curation can amplify outdated assumptions. Automation without review can scale tiny errors into major consequences. So we write explicit rules. If confidence is low, state uncertainty. If no source supports the claim, do not infer. For legal, medical, and financial recommendations, draft only and require human sign-off. These boundaries do not weaken the assistant. They make it trustworthy at speed. Microhook, paradoxically, the tighter the safe lane, the faster the car can go. Now we have role clarity, evidence grounding, automation flow, and guardrails. It sounds complete. It is not. Here is the twist that reframes everything. Our AI assistant is not primarily a technology mirror. It is a cognitive mirror. It reflects our definitions of success. It scales our incentives. It amplifies our blind spots. If our objective is vague, it scales vagueness. If our data is weak, it scales weakness. If our incentives are short-term, it accelerates short-term behavior. The bottleneck was never only the model. The bottleneck was operating design. In story terms, this is the abyss. Mastery is not cooler outputs. Mastery is building systems aligned with real goals and real ethics. The same Google stack that gives a student superhuman research leverage can also flood a team with plausible garbage when no one owns quality standards. And here is the second twist. The highest leverage use case is often not external content at all. It is internal clarity. Teams using notebook workflows and gems to standardize decision memos, meeting synthesis, project updates, and risk reporting quietly out-execute teams, still improvising every week. So we ask a harder question. Are we using AI to look productive, or to become reliably better at decisions? Now everything converges into one clear truth. The future does not belong to people who use AI occasionally. It belongs to people who design assistant ecosystems with intent. Notebook LM gives the system memory anchored in evidence. Google Gems give the system personality, role consistency, and tone control. Automation gives the system momentum. Guardrails give the system integrity. The rite of passage is simple and exact. Build one assistant this week for one recurring pain point, end to end. Not 10. Name it. Define its role. Feed it trusted sources. Set its output format. Add one quality checkpoint. Run it until it becomes boringly reliable. Then scale. That is the real VIP access being revealed here. Not a secret menu. A new level of agency. We stop being passengers in the AI era. We become directors. And if you're wondering where to start where friction repeats every Monday. Repetition is a map. It tells us exactly where automation can buy back our best attention. If this changed how we think about AI,